my best work. It's kind of annoying. I am in Salt Lake right now. Had like a quick little touch up for my bangs and a little more like razoring of my hair this morning, and I just decided to pop over to Ken Sanders Rare Books here in Salt Lake. Salt Lake doesn't really have the best like bookstores. A lot of options, even like in the towns surrounding Salt Lake. Like in my town, I just have a Borders, and I don't want to go to Borders unless I have to go to Borders. I'd rather support way more local. So I went in, kind of perused for a minute. They still sell some like new books. So there was Invitation to a Beheading, which I wanted, but it was like a new copy, so it was still full price, and I was like, ugh, I can find like a used one somewhere else probably, which I really, if I didn't find anything, I probably was going to pick that one up still, but try to find something cheaper, because I just got myself 2 books for a gift for myself for graduating, which is are at home, so I'll show you those when I get home. So I did find though, which I've been wanting to read, is The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. I thought this was kind of a cool edition. I like the cat. So I picked up this. I'm gonna head home, but I'll show you what it looks like. It's really cool. But this is the location. They also have like a free book wall right there if you can't tell. But they've got really cool murals on the side of the building, and then it's just like goes on forever. So if you're ever in Salt Lake, I highly recommend Ken Sanders Rare Books. Hey guys, I am in Arizona right now. If you can't tell, the gorgeous background actually. Yeah, I'm actually here for my graduation. I'm graduating today. See me looking down? It's probably because my parents have a 3-month-old Frenchie puppy, and she's out here with me, and if I'm, you know, keeping an eye on her and looking down, that's why. But while I've been here, I have gotten a few books. There's a few bookstores here that I like. There's one called the Poisoned Pen that's in Scottsdale, and it's smaller, but last year I found a few books there. They're definitely more like mystery, crime, thriller based small bookstore, but nonetheless still cool. I found a signed copy of Time as a Mother by Ocean Vuong last year, so you can find some stuff there, so why not check it out. So I would recommend that. One that I went to last year, and this is where I got the books that I got today, is called Changing Hands. It's actually in Phoenix. It's got like a coffee bar, actually I think it's just a coffee bar in there, and like a big study area for kids or students. And then right next to it, it's called The First Page, which is a bar lounge restaurant, I think. That's always closed when I go there, but the bookstore itself is called Changing Hands, and they've got a lot of really cool stuff. So yeah, definitely check it out if you're in the area. But this is my second time there, and I picked up 3 things. So I thought I'd show them to you. The first one I got was my first Clarice Lispector, like my copy. I've had a copy from like the library and stuff, but I got The Passion According to GH. And then the person that was ringing me up, they said that this is one of their all-time favorite books, and it is so effing crazy, and they were very excited. And they also told me that they host a literature and translation book club, which unfortunately is in person, and I don't live in Arizona, but yeah, so they were like, you should definitely come, but unfortunately I don't live here. Yeah, it's all in person, but if you do live in the area, you should definitely check it out if you are a big reader. But yeah, I got The Passion According to GH, which a lot of people I feel like have read this, but I thought I'd just kind of read the back. GH, a well-to-do Rio sculptress, enters her maid's room, sees a cockroach crawling out of the wardrobe and panicking, slams the door on it. The sight of the dying insect provokes a mystical crisis, at the height of which comes one of the most famous and genuinely shocking scenes in Latin American literature. Clarice Lispector wrote that of all her works, this novel was one that was best corresponded to her demands as a writer. Sounds good. Then I read The Seas by Samantha Hunt earlier this year, and I liked it. It definitely wasn't a favorite by any means, but I enjoyed it a lot. And they have the Unwritten book, An Investigation by Samantha Hunt at this bookstore, and I've been really intrigued in reading this. So I picked it up. To be haunted, to be a ghost, to die, to live, to read. The Unwritten book gathers subjects, the haunt, the dead, the forest, the towering library of all those books we will never have time to read or write. Samantha Hunt, like a mad crossword puzzler, looks for patterns and clues. She explores motherhood, hoarding, addiction, grief, how we insulate ourselves from the past, how we misinterpret the world. Nestled within her inquiry in a very special ghost book, an incomplete manuscript about people who can fly without wings, written by her father and found in his desk just days after he died. What secrets might his work reveal? The Unwritten book conveys a vivid, grateful life that sheds fear from wonder and reveals its randomness, connectivity, the magic of everyday existence, and the immense weight of love. I thought this sounded amazing. I was like, this sounds like the perfect summer book for me right now. The last thing I got, actually, which I'm really excited about, I'm wanting to get my hands on this. I think I heard someone talking about it, and I just did a deep dive research into Astra, the International Magazine of Literature, and I signed up for it, but then I think shortly after they must have canceled or must have just stopped doing the magazine, so I just missed it and I was really bummed. And I kind of heard you can find it some places, and I found it at Changing Hands, which is really exciting. This is the second issue, which I think there's only 2 issues out anyways. This one is Filth, and also just it's so pretty, like this in the back. I'm like, oh, this is so awesome. And like just the artwork like here, and then on this side is just so sick. So look at that. Oh, amazing. I got my hands on the second edition. I'm gonna hopefully try to find the first edition somewhere someday. But this one has Elif Batuman, Mariana Enriquez, Sheila Hedy, Raven Leilani, Clarice Lispector, Maggie Milner, just some familiar people. And yeah, that's everything that I got so far. I also ordered a book I can't think of the name of right now. Lovely. Yeah, I can't think of the name for some reason, but I guess I'll go over what I'm reading currently. I just bought a small book just because I figured I might not get a whole lot of reading time. So I brought Eve Babitz's Slow Days, Fast Company, The World, the Flesh, in LA, which I'm getting into. I'm about 50 pages in, so I've read a bit of it. And I'm loving it. Her writing, flawless. I can't believe it's taking me so long. Like, this is a perfect summer read, and I obviously just finished school, so I hadn't had the most amount of time to read what I want to read lately for the past 2 months. So this was the good first thing to get back into reading after a while. It's small enough, but just you don't want to stop reading it. So probably gonna read a few more chapters of this. Enjoy this weather in the pool. Maybe jump in the pool one last time because our flight leaves pretty early tomorrow morning. Hang out with my parents' new puppy for a while, and get ready and go to my graduation. But yeah, I didn't really film too much. Maybe I'll get a few clips right now, but yeah. It's everything I've gotten and what I'm reading so far. It's been a good little trip, good book haul. I have a few books at home that I ordered to celebrate for myself graduating or finishing school. So maybe I will show you that when I get home tomorrow. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, happy graduation to me. I am back home now. It's currently Tuesday, and we left on Friday, early Friday morning, so it's been a few days. Just kind of wanted to give some final thoughts on Slow Days, Fast Company, The World, the Flesh in LA by the iconic Babitz. I love this. It kind of took me a little bit longer than expected to read because I think I was just traveling and just didn't really have as much time as I thought I was going to have. So it took me a little longer than I thought. I thought this was going to be a pretty quick read, which it was, but still. Basically, I loved it. I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. I think this is a great depiction of LA in the 70s and through the lens of a woman who is like in the spotlight but is also like a writer. She's not, you know, an actress and all that kind of stuff. It's just like her kind of in and out of relationships with people, and she does so good at like describing like LA and like the summer with the flowers and by the weather and how the weather affects like her like mood and how she loves the rain and how when it's raining she wants to go out all the time, and just like that feeling, I just like it just made me like want it to rain, which it did rain yesterday actually, which was kind of crazy. Yeah, it's just such a good like description of how an environment shapes a person. Yeah, I really loved it. I literally added all of her other works to my TBR on Goodreads because I want to own everything in the future. I want to read everything and all that. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. I think this is a great read. One for the summertime, like going into summer, like just spring summer vibes all around. Like especially when they talk about Palm Springs and when she's in Palm Springs and just how hot it is and how you just like melt in the sun and the pool, and I was just like, ugh. Luckily I came from like Arizona, about like, you know, Scottsdale area, so it was warming up and it was nice to have the pool around and just be able to jump in the pool, so that was a nice like little parallel for me. But yeah, sorry, I'm like, my throat's kind of getting dry. How do you guys do this? Someone tell me. Yeah, so really enjoyed this, fully recommend. I cannot wait to read more of her in the future. So yeah, I finished this the other day, and then I picked up this book, which I think a little bit more on Book Talk than It Is Strangers I Know by Claudia Durastanti, which is an Italian writer, and this was translated by Elizabeth Harris. It's really interesting. I'm like 40 pages in. I started this, read like the first chapter or 2 last night, and then I've been like picking it up and whatnot throughout the day. Also, this cover is to die for. I love it. Like that and the neon like green, so sick. Awesome. It's basically just about, her dad's name is Claudia, and it's kind of recounting her parents' relationships. So both her parents are deaf. One is deaf by birth, and then one is deaf due to a disease, which I didn't know that could happen, but that's crazy. And just kind of like how they grew up in Italy and how they navigated being deaf, growing up in the world, and how like their parents didn't really help them grow and like teach them how to communicate with the world. It just kind of made them both, and I'm talking about both as in the parents, one very rebellious and the other one very like closed off from the world. And then they find each other and have Claudia and her brother, but as Claudia gets older, she's kind of realizing that her parents don't really like tell the same stories about each other, like about certain situations, like how they met. One parent says this, one parent says this, so it gets Claudia like really questioning like who are her parents, what is this relationship. Yeah, I really like it so far. It's blurbed by some good people as well. Ocean Vong blurbed it, as well as Lauren Groff, so that's pretty cool. This is what I'm currently reading. Gonna probably read this after I stop talking. What else? I do have 2 Libby audiobooks. One of them is Eileen by Tessa Moshfegh, that I feel like everyone knows what that's about. So I need to read or listen to that. And then I also got, I'm like halfway through Songs of Solomon by Toni Morrison. Talk about my thoughts on Eve Babitz, and check in a little bit. So yeah, I'm probably gonna make dinner soon. And sorry, my dog has to drink right now. And I have work at 5 a.m, so I'll probably go to bed early. But yeah, I will probably check in with you guys next day or soon, and let you know my final thoughts on Stranger's Eye. Hi, long time no talk, actually. Figured I should close out this video. I mean, you can probably tell my bangs are a lot more grown out than they were probably in the last clip. But I moved, and honestly, the month of June, I couldn't pick up a book. This is late. This is a lot later than it should have been, but I did finish Strangers I Know. I figured I could at least close out this video by talking about Strangers I Know, which I loved. This was my first 5-star of the year. Not that I've read like a whole bunch of my own like personal reading because of school and whatnot, and just trying to focus on that. But from what I have read, this is my first 5-star of the read. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was a really good look at parents with mental health issues. I think I mentioned that both the parents of Claudia, our narrator, and her brother, the book's not really about her brother, it's about Claudia and her relationship with her parents, but both her parents were deaf, and just the struggles that they had. I don't want to give too much away in the sense of like what their mental health issues are, because I think it does play a lot into her relationship with them, and just how as they get older, like things like the internet come into play, where they get, or one of the parents gets really involved in like, not conspiracy theories, but just like what's the current events in the world and like how awful the world is, but also like a play on like, you can't believe everything you read on the internet, which Claudia's mother did do as a finding something to take up her time, because she couldn't participate a lot in like the parties and like family dancing, and even her family, Claudia's mother's family, didn't know how to deal with their child and sibling that was deaf. So she was never taught proper, like how to communicate properly, or like Claudia's parents never taught their children how to sign. So they kind of just like read lips, and they're also Italian, so they're like immigrants. They kind of float back and forth between America and Italy. It's really cool to read about like the areas of like the small town that Claudia's family is from, and just like, yeah, it's about like family dynamics and helping parents that go through mental illness and how to deal with that. And I also really liked the aspect of like linguistics that kind of got brought up more towards like the end. I liked how Claudia, and also the author's name is Claudia, went into like Latin root words and how that creates a word in English, but how that translates to Italian. I found that really fascinating. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. This was really good. I would definitely read some more by this author. Easy to follow, and it was hard to put down up until I had to move and I couldn't read a book for a month because I was so just having the worst reading slump in the month of June. But yeah, it's getting really hot, so I'm gonna go and maybe start another vlog-ish thing soon. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, talk to you guys later. Bye.